It's back to another exciting, let's make a fire. And as you can see, it's not that cold. However, my window's been open, long story, and it's drafty. And I can't stand. Drafts are worse than cold, frankly. And another thing I like to point out, see that, right? That's a coal briquette. That burns it. Therefore, it is not a log burner. It is a stove. It is a multi-fuel stove. Wood is one of the things it burns, but they're not exclusively two. So the idea of calling it a log burner, frankly, it's like saying, oh yeah, I know what lorries are. They run on petrol. Missing the point. Look at this. We've got a whole bunch of charcoal and loads of ash. But it's not yet ash day. It's not going to be an ash day. I'm not talking French today. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. That's a different sort of dust. I think that must be from the coal briquettes. Because ash from the wood is white, and this is, yeah, that sort of powder is rust coloured. There must be a fair bit of iron inside wood to do that. Nice bits of charcoal. That's good. That's going to make getting the fire started quite good, because my stash of firelighters is quite low. And I've been looking on eBay to see what I want to get. And I think I might go with, well, haven't made a decision yet, so let's leave that until we get to that stage. I must admit, I'm not too impressed with these oranges. They're quite bland. Perhaps it's not the season for them, but they do give me a firelighter. Not the most cost-effective of firelighters. But on the other side, you know, it's multi-purpose, because it's both food and a firelighter, and I like multi-purpose. Right, yeah. Get the old lighter, and I'll use the Greta Thunberg approved firelighter. Ah yes, the excellent technology of it melts, it doesn't burn. Well, that smells like orange, but it doesn't smell like fire. See if that burns. That's a bit better. That's got a flame to it. Another bit of plastic. Yeah. Sorry for obscuring your view of the thing. I mean, it's a fire first, and it's a show about making fire second. Really, it's just chance for me to talk about things. So yeah, it's a log burner, it's not that. Do I want to recap anything? I listened back to my recent one I did about the fractal nature of reality and fractal complexity, which is probably a subject I've touched on before. But it's one of those things I go back to because I like thinking about it. And if I keep thinking about it, maybe I'll keep coming up with new ideas. I think one of the important things about free thinking as well is not necessarily being right. I mean, everyone likes being right because it's like, I'm right, I can be smug. Look at me, I'm so right. The important thing about it is to say that you are able to think, even if the conclusions are wrong. So that's why I quite like miasma theory, even though I know it's wrong, because you see, it's an example of thinking, and it still leads to some useful outcomes. Yep, tiny little flame there. And yet it's still going. What if I lift it up? If I lift it up, and then if I get a bit of flame there, or I'd be able to get this to ignite. There we go. It just needs a bit of steady heat. Those gas lighters, they do get the fire going, but they don't give a steady heat. So that's why we need fire lighters. When I first started using a stove, I just thought, oh, this is a bit of a hassle. Why don't they make an easy one, which you've got a gas supply to it, and the gas works like a flamethrower, and you could just chuck coal in there and keep it lit for about 10 to 15 minutes on gas until the coals are hot enough to do a self-sustaining reaction, and then you turn your gas off. And then after a while I realised that with the heat and other things, you're never going to have valves and nozzles that will survive that. There are self-starting stoves which use a heat gun to get things going, but really you need kindling there. But they will get going, and that they're safer because rather than having gas going into it and having flames inside, you just have hot air blowing from a heat gun, and that works. Right. Got a few flames, not many, but we've got a few. So let's see how that gets going. At least I've got a nice bed of charcoal from... so I completely closed those vents last night, but just the heat kept going. And I've got a horrible bloody splinter in my palm. I can feel it whenever I rest down something, and I can feel it, but I can't see it. Oh, well, that's going to be a nuisance. Never mind. Yeah, I think, judging by those little spits of flame there, yeah, see that? The lime and orange peel are starting to ignite. Good. Right, fire's done. Thanks for watching. This is quite an interesting log. I think I'll put that on later. I'm going to use the more conservatively shaped wedge-shaped one. Although it feels quite dense. Yeah. Bit of moisture in that. That's why we got coal. I think what I ought to do really is get the fire going using wood, and then once it's going, just switch over to coal, and then give these the months they need to start drying out. Yep. Yeah, I think that sounds like a sensible plan to me. Plus it means I won't have to be bringing in wood all the time, so I'll just bring in a couple of logs to get the fire going. Then I'll put the coals in place, and that'll be nice. Yeah. It also means once I get done stacking all those logs, I won't have to do it for a while because I won't be depleting my handiwork. The coal bunker is much easier. You just chuck coal in there, scoop coal out of it, and you're done. So I think I may switch to coal next few months. Plus it is cheaper to run on coal than it is wood. Not substantially so, but it is cheaper. Nice thing about wood though is with this ash I can just scatter it into the gardens, and it's got micronutrients which otherwise would be lost. But I'm not growing any crops on there, so that's not really important. Plus I don't have a garden to scatter it into, it's just my neighbours, and I'm sure if they wanted me to scatter ashes into their garden they'd ask me to, but it's one of those strange ones really, that the way the layout is, it's like, where does my garden end and where does your garden begin? And I'm just going to scatter the ashes here and watch as the grass and the flowers take hold of it, and I'm sure they do a good job with it. But yeah, we got ourselves a fire. This is a momentous occasion. I've done it again. This is why we use log guards. That's okay. It's all been free kindling as well. I mean, this is the nice thing about stacking logs. I just look at these little slivers of wood and go, oh yeah, I'll get a fire going with that. And also it gives me an indication of like, well, if this burns readily, then I can say the other logs, even though they feel dense, well, they burn. I mean, if it's dry enough to be used as kindling, it's dry enough to be used as firewood. It's just, I like mine a bit drier. I smell charcoal. No, charcoal doesn't have a smell. No, I'm smelling wood. Ah, oh, my neck aches. It's ached for a while now. I think tomorrow will be ash day. I'll say tomorrow. The next time I do a fire, because it's getting warm enough now where the fires aren't necessary. Not all the time though. Anyway, I'm going to say that's done. Just keep an eye on it, and yeah, good to go. Bye.